Hi everyone. Trust you all are safe and doing great. I thank you all for enrolling yourself for this event. Excel in Excel welcomes you all. Let me give a gist of what are we all about. EIE Fresh Talk is where we are hosting great leaders and experts from various fields to speak regularly on a variety of topics, ranging from finance and analytics. Our topic for this session is New Finance Skills to Adopt During the Digital Era by Mr. Prateek Kapoor. In the era of big data, digital technologies like robotic process automation and artificial intelligence and mean the finance function can increasingly and business value to greater accuracy, efficiency, and strategic insight. To understand these opportunities, teams need the proper mixture of digital skill sets and business intelligence. Our today's expert speaker, Mr. Prateek, will help us learn and understand more about which new finance skills to adapt during the digital era. I'm glad to introduce our speaker of the session, Mr. Prateek Kapoor. Prateek Kapoor is a global shared service leader with proven expertise in driving large complex operations, transformation, and change programs by providing business and technology solutions to improve efficiency and effectiveness. Wide experience of working in multicultural teams based out of different geographical locations and deliver continuous improvement for the business trusted as digital champion in the expertise to influence leadership around digital solutions. Participants, please welcome our speaker for today's session. Please write hi in the chat box and welcome our expert speaker, Mr. Prateek.
Thank you so much, Neha, and thank you, Excel and Excel team, for inviting me.
Thank you for accepting our invite, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you.
sir.
Sure.
Before I hand over the session to Mr. Prateek, I request all the audience to let us know any of your questions and doubts, if any, by typing the same in the live chat box in YouTube. The questions or doubts will be answered by the speaker at the end of the session, subject to the availability of timing. Thank you, so over to you.
Yeah, thank you once again. And I still remember almost a month back, Deepak reached out to me and he was requesting me that he's getting a lot of requests around what is the new era in finance and accounting world looks like, and what are the key skills which a finance and accounting professional should actually invest in so that he or she is future ready. And then he told me that they are running a learning series, and I'm happy to come and share my experience with all of you. So I have named the topic as digital accountant reinventing in a transformative world, and these are the contents which we will go through. We will actually see what are the current trends to watch, what is the digital challenge looks like, what is the digital journey looks like, how it is impacting our workplace, what is digital transformations, what are the forces behind it, and how it is changing the world around us. What are the different business models of finance and accounting? We will also give a glimpse on how the adoption of artificial intelligence are happening, and definitely some interesting numbers around it. Definitely the key topic, which is digital skills, and I will try to stitch these skills throughout my presentation, and definitely skills to invest, which actually are some suggestions from my learning experience, but it will require your participation and your guts as well on what challenges you are up to in this upcoming new world as well. So moving ahead, this is a Gartner 2020 Future of Finance 10 Trends to Watch. And if you can see that Craig, who is a senior director at Gartner Advisory, he is very clearly mentioning that all CFOs who will take swift actions around these 10 trends and actually will build their team's characteristics and skills around these 10 trends will actually be the go-to CFOs of future, and those companies will actually be the go-to companies in the near future. And we all know that these are very difficult times, and COVID-19 has shown the world that digital transformation is equally important, and it is the need of the hour, if you ask me. So if you see these 10 trends, the first one is digital is creating a skill disconnect. That means that the digital transformation is happening in such a fast pace, and the employees are actually, in some of the organizations, they are not ready for it. In some of the organizations, where they are ready, but they are not ready maybe through skills, but they are only ready with their intent to drive transformation. The second is demand for decision ready data. We all know that finance professionals play a key role in providing analysis and trends around the finance data and working capital to the senior management. And that is how business decisions are taking place real and fast. The third trend to watch actually is centralization of finance analytics. Reporting goes on demand. And if you see this slide, you can actually see, and very easily you can make out that the AI revolution has begun. RPA is putting internal controls at risk, unlocking growth through supplier collaboration, growing use of shared services. And if you ask me, this slide is self-explanatory. But if you watch this slide very closely, you can actually start seeing that how the skill set of finance and accounting professionals are changing on a day-to-day basis actually. And it is actually also showing us how the technology is playing a key role in the everyday life of a finance and accounting professional. Moving ahead, we will actually also see what are the digital challenges the current organizations are facing, how their digital journeys are shaping up, and how actually the workplace is changing. So I'm actually part of the ACCA Technology Global Forum, and Sam Elias, who is the chair, he is actually very beautifully quoting the mindset and behavior of many accountants are changing actually, and they are actually seeing a very good wave of technological changes, which is not only getting limited to use of systems like ERP, but actually a big transformation is underway in which they are actually seen as a subject matter expert in the finance professional. So a new way of working can actually come for a finance and accounting professional. They are also expected now to give insights and streamline the operations in such a way that faster decisions can be made, and the business can be kept within good compliance, good controls, and definitely it's a risk mitigation win-win game for the enterprise who is trying to bring more effectiveness and efficiency in their business operations, because the world out there is very, very competitive. So what is happening is, if in today's world you are not providing a digital services, or if you are a product company and your operations are not streamlined digitally, you will you are actually up for failure. And I remember actually when in the 19th century the machines were taking over the operations, the human operations in the manufacturing industry. Actually, there was a person whose name was Luddite, and he presented a concept, and he told that when these machines are coming, the jobs are actually about to go away, and there will be a very big slump actually in the job market. But today we are in the 21st century, and I think we have seen from 19th century till today. I feel that this Luddite fallacy is actually turning out to be false. And actually, if you see, and coming back to finance and accounting world, the finance and accounting world professionals actually have taken it as a challenge. And I have seen that initially those finance professional who took ERP and other software packages as challenge, they are right now in very senior designations, and they are actually running the companies very smoothly, some as finance technology leaders, some as CFOs, and some as good controllers. And I also remember I was reading this book, Race Against the Machine. And actually, by reading this book, I realized that the the world has actually embarrassed, and especially the finance and accounting professionals, that if we stop racing against the machine, but actually we embrace and acknowledge that machines are day to day part of our working life and also our personal life, then a hum bot kind of a relationship can be developed where humans will do some kind of work, and they will accept that machines are part of my day to day life. So they will actually coexist in this scenario. In our present today's world, we can say in a COVID-19 situation like this, right now we can't meet in a big hotel and we can't do a conference there. And that is where, again, technology is playing a very key role in our day to day life as well, including learnings as well. So, this is how a kind of digital challenge is coming. Organizations are coming and they are streamlining their digital journeys. And actually, the workplace is changing on a day to day basis. Moving ahead, this is how digital finance transformation looks like. And now I will try to correlate this with the finance and accounting world. So if you see left side, we actually have some forces. And these are the five forces which a finance and accounting professional goes through on a daily basis. And let me put some insight and thought around it. So, all transactions or business transactions or technology transactions, a finance professional actually goes through all these transactions in detail and actually put these transactions into the accounting principles, and then actually brings out a value which is meaningful for the organization and business leaders. Now, in doing so, it has to go through variety of systems, variety of policies, interaction with variety of internal and external stakeholders. And if you see, a finance professional has to do that with the velocity of a time and in a time bound program. And at the end, the accuracy of data and numbers which here I have coined it as veracity, actually play a key role. And this is how around these five forces actually all CFOs and controllers are right now working so that they can increase the volume of work done by them. They can actually reinvent and skill the people to handle variety of systems, bring right value to the management in a shortest possible time with accuracy. And how they do that is by use of technology, by use of demographic, and actually when this transformation journey or digital journey will happen, there actually has to be a social value also coming out of it as well. So you can say that, say, recently taking an example, uh, Asian Paints is able to reach out to their customers very fast. They are able to ensure that their books are closed on time with accuracy, with no or zero or very minimum external auditor findings. And when they are able to reach out to their customer in faster time with good products, because their internal operations are very streamlined, they are able to carve out their customer digital journey and everything, they are actually able to create a very good positive impact on the society as well. So recently, you must have seen that while in the COVID-19 situation, all business are feeling the heat, Asian Paint has actually set a very good example in which they have actually come out and supported their colleagues by giving them a rise during these times. And the point which we all have to agree and acknowledge and appreciate here is that Asian Paint is one of the leading organizations of the world who has adopted digital transformation, who has adopted these digital technologies, and actually has invested in the skill set of not only their finance and accounting professional, but actually the entire organization to plug and play and learn all these things. So, this is how the future of finance will look like. And if a, a accountant who is in this call right now, or who is not able to come to this call because of month end or year end activity, and is actually thinking that I can live without the use of technology, is actually not living in a real world. Now I will move to the next page, and I think next slide is very very interesting, and it is actually telling us how the changing business model looks like for the finance and accounting professionals. So if you see the current structure in most of the companies is that there is a corporate center, there are different business units, and then all business units has their center of excellence. But if you see the new world of technology, it looks like that you will actually have business units, and then you will actually have not accountant but actually bots, or to say a robot is actually working and actually doing all the transactional value or the repetitive task in all the different finance and accounting and other towers. And then actually you are able to crunch the numbers by using the right accounting principles and policies in such a way that at an enterprise level you are able to put a right analytics tool on it and actually able to drive a good value and numbers around it. And that is how, if you see right now, all CFOs and controllers are looking that machine should start doing the things. Machine should actually have the capability to learn, and they are actually going one way ahead, and they are actually also looking at machines to have the capability to reason as well. So if somebody who will just go through these slides and is not uh, a very engaged and aware person, a fear will come into his senses that this is not the right thing which is happening. But I think that is where I start appreciating the finance and accounting professional, because they have taken it as a challenge. And we, the finance and accounting people, are the people who are leading this digital transformation from the front. And this is actually the future of finance looks like. So today we have plan, transact, account, control, comply, report, analyze, and advise. And if you see the future, you actually see that most of the part around transact, account, control, comply, and report is actually going to be digitized. But the beauty is that the planning phase, analyze phase, and advise phase is where we will still need a human brain to actually do all these things. But I will tell you a much more positive side of this digital finance enterprise, that actually you need a finance and accounting professional at all other levers as well. That is transact, account, control, comply, and report, even if they are getting automated. Because in a finance transaction, there is something known as transaction and there is something known as review. So the review part is still will lie with the accountant, and that is where comes the new advanced skills which a finance and accounting professional has to inbuilt in itself to be able to support the digital journey of their department. And I know that it is not very easy to digest, but in the coming slide, what numbers I am going to show you, you will actually start appreciating, first of all, the finance and accounting world. Second, your peers and colleagues who have already started this journey and are in the matured stage. And if one of you have just started their journey or is in the early stages, I think you are in the right learning session, that going forward you can actually decide to keep your destiny and luck into your hands and start participating in your organization digital transformation journey. Moving ahead, this is a slide from McKinsey, and the slide is actually again telling that automation and artificial intelligence are accelerating the skill shifts. So if you see on the left hand side, we have physical and manual skills. And if you see that skill, if you see 2030, it will still be there. And if you say basic cognitive skills, which we just saw in the previous slide, if you see, those skills are also going to reduce. But the interesting thing is that the higher cognitive skills will actually evolve. The social and emotional skills will also evolve and increase. And if you see, technological skills will also increase. That means if currently I see a life of a finance professional. He actually comes, he start doing some number crunching on Excels. He uses Outlook, he uses ERP like SAP, Barn, or say Workday, and he actually in some of the organizations are also using reconciliation softwares. But then in many organizations which I am aware of, where I have worked in multinational companies with good finance controllers, right now most of them are actually started working with bots as well, and new machine learning and Python algorithms as well, where most of the transactional part is actually done by a bot, and the review and analysis part is actually done by a chartered accountant or a cost accountant. So the beauty of this particular way of working is that in the scenario one, so let's take two scenarios. So in scenario one, a chartered accountant or a accountant was actually investing 80% of their time in preparation of a financial transaction analysis, and 20% on reviewing and interpreting that analysis. In the new digital world, actually what will happen is the transactional part will be automated, and the accountant has to invest say 60 to 70% of the time finding the right interpretation of what has been analyzed, so that he can fuel the decision making of a senior management or a business professionals around their business. Now, moving ahead, this is how adoption of artificial intelligence is happening, and this is a survey which is done by Genpact. And if you see, you can very easily see that finance and accounting is leading here, and 72% adoption of artificial intelligence is already happening in finance and accounting work. And if you see other departments like IT services, operations, strategy and general management, customer service, R&D and sales, the adoption is little less. And if you see the how people are feeling the impact of artificial intelligence, again you will see some good positive news, that it is improving our ability to leverage our data and analytics more. It is actually improving processes with greater efficiency at our company. That means you are moving towards the zero error processing kind of a scenario. You are also able to collaborate further with departments and functions, because the core part is now taken care by a bot, or so as to say a machine. What it is actually helping in a better way, which I have told earlier as well, is now finance and accounting professionals are able to make better predictions and forecast as well. And if you see, due to all these things, the customer experience and services are also improving, and definitely the cost is reducing as well. The revenues are increasing as well, and and not to mention actually that for a finance and accounting professional, they have a better work life balance as well, because during month end close or quarter end close or year end close, they are able to actually create a balance between their personal and professional life as well. And uh, leave apart the finance and accounting world, in our day-to-day world also, Google now play a very important role. uh, we have WhatsApp, and we have other smart technology. Even right now during COVID-19, we also have technology telling us that which part of the world has more cases, where the healing is happening fast, and actually where actually there are shortage of beds, and where actually the number of beds are more available, and all these things are actually helping each one of us on a day-to-day basis. I will also tell you how the adoption of artificial intelligence is happening among the age group as well. So if you see uh, the millennials and younger generation, they are actually very comfortable around using these technologies, and that's a good news, because I think they are very future ready. But if you see the Gen X, and Gen X is the one where I belong to, if you see, some of us are fairly comfortable and some are very comfortable, but there's still a section around 12% which are not at all comfortable using these technologies. And these are the people actually who have to reinvest in their skill set in a way that they don't lag behind. And again, you see baby bloomers, the numbers are speaking for itself. Now, coming to the skills, so it is very clear from last 25 minutes or so, we are actually talking about what new skills we have to adopt. And it is very clear now that digital skills are the new skills which actually finance and accounting professionals specially has to invest in. And this is a survey which was done by ACCA. And if you see, 89% of the respondents have considered digital skills to be the relevant or very relevant skills to accounting and finance professional. And this was done across the world. So I think we have some more interesting data here, that how relevant do you consider digital skills to be for accountant and finance professional in your industry. So you can see 54% of the people are saying that they are very relevant. How often you require to use your digital skills in your role, and if you see, around 60% of them are saying that almost all of the time they are required to do so. And we have other numbers speaking for itself. And I think the last graph also tells the demographic percentage as well. And if you see, developed countries like UK and other places, the adoption is more, but India is not lagging behind as well. We have 87% of finance and accounting professional vouching for these digital skills. So, so actually, that means that the era has actually come where a person having good IQ is not the only person who will succeed in today's competitive world. So when the baby bloomers were there, IQ was the main thing which everybody thought would take them to the next level. In the current scenario, say 20 years back, or say, I will say 10 years back as well, EQ also plays a very significant role in shaping up your career and personality and life. But at this point of time, I think a one new quotient has added, and that is actually called digital quotient. And at this point of time, if your IQ is very high, that means you are very intelligent. Your EQ is very high, that means you are able to emotionally connect with people and and work with empathy and passion. But if you are lacking in the digital quotient, you are actually bound to fail in this competitive environment and the way the world is changing. But on the other hand, right now, if you are able to create a balance between these three, you are actually bound to succeed. And this is how uh, DQ looks like. It is actually a sum of social, emotional, and cognitive abilities that enable an individual to face the challenges and adapt to the demands of digital life. So, so I don't know how many of you will accept, but I have accepted that this long time back, say 5 years before only I accepted that right now I am living a digital life and I need to not being fearful of these technology changes and advancement and some of my repetitive tasks taken care by a machine or a bot. Actually, right now I am actually acting as a digital citizenship. Said I'm ready to give my non-value adding repetitive transactional work to a bot so that that time maybe I can invest with my family and on more value adding thing in my enterprise journey, professional journey as well. And actually I'm able to show my creative side to the department I am working in. So this is a question I want you to ask yourself, that if you are a certified public accountant and if you are a chartered accountant, what skill set you have actually learned in your college and professional life? How many of you are able to utilize that skill in your day-to-day life? Because in last 20 years or so, we have uh, actually being investing more time in preparing numbers than on analyzing them. And what new things are coming out of this is right now a new kind of digital entrepreneurship is also coming in, and also in the finance and accounting world as well, where companies like Intuit and some other firms are able to actually come up with some new innovative tools where a chartered accountant is actually playing a very good value of sharing his knowledge around those principles and policies, and you are able to reduce the journey of the finance transaction world to insight very fast actually. So this is how this is what DQ is all about, and this is what is one of the skill we should actually invest on. Also, these are actually further the components of DQ. So one is the capabilities. So how much digital capabilities a finance and accounting professional has? How how many practices a finance and accounting professional, so he has a practice, a way to do accounting, a way to do reconciliation, a way to do journal entry. How fast you are able to adopt one of the digital technologies to actually change the way you work is actually the future skill set of a finance and accounting professional. And if you see how fast you are able to embrace and adopt a emerging technology is actually one of the good quality skill set to develop at this point of time. And if you are a person who is at a controllership level, or you are at a CFO level and listening to this broadcast, I think one thing which will take all of you to big heights is how quickly you are able to develop a digital strategy around adopting these emerging technologies, bringing and changing the accounting and finance practices which you have been using for all these years to use these emerging technologies, and how you are able to improve the capabilities of your finance and accounting team members around these technologies is actually the key. And actually, if you see the ACCA survey also tells that that these are the components, and if you see the numbers will speak for itself, and you can also see that the awareness level is actually basic awareness levels of using these technologies or knowing these technologies. Now, one question which I am getting again and again is that, Prateek, I am a chartered accountant. How do I learn robotics process automation, or how do I learn machine learning and artificial intelligence? So, my answer to those colleagues are that uh, you need not learn how these technologies actually work or function at an operational level in technology world. You only adopting it, learning the basics, and actually reinventing the finance processes accordingly can only take you to the next level of skill set. Because if somebody is from a coding background and somebody will ask him to tell three principles of accounting, I am not sure that whether his interest level will lie in learning those three principles and adopting it and say preparing a balance sheet. But he has to actually understand the concept in such a way that he is able to streamline their operations. Equally, a finance and accounting professional to be successful in this digital world should be able to successfully adopt these technologies, learn the basics of these technologies. So, when the discussion is happening in your enterprise around adoption of these technologies, you are actually seen as a go to person who would be leading this implementation or supporting these implementations. And just by supporting and lending a helping hand around implementation of these technology itself will actually lead you to develop a good digital quotient, streamline your work operations in a very smart way, and automatically your digital journey and enhancement of your skill set will happen. Having said that, these are actually some of the places where actually DQ plays a role. And I don't want to invest more time on this slide because I think it is very clear that we need to start learning and appreciating the technology world while performing our day-to-day duties in a very smart way so that we are not left behind. But I have actually also gone ahead and actually done some kind of segregation of the skills as well. So these, if you see left hand side, are the new skill set which are actually out there to learn. Now, if you see spreadsheets, I think we have Excel in Excel itself, who are creating classes and I think helping the finance professional to learn the spreadsheeting. Then we have ERP, we have finance system strategy, analytics applications like Tableau, and use of operational data. So if you see use of operational data is actually becoming a part of the digital practice. Data management, project management, data inquiries, data visualization tools like Power BI, data governance, data strategy, and the list is very high around this. So, right now, you have some finance professionals who are actually working in the IT SOX governance as well. They are actually helping shaping up the right finance IT strategy around uh, finance functions or a CFO function. So that is the kind of skill one can invest in. But I think how to choose one of these skills and then shape up your career, I think it can happen in three or four ways. Either you are very lucky that you have entered into a enterprise or in your professional life, and just by luck you are able to enter one of these categories and you are able to carve out your career. The second way is actually to go ahead and do your skill assessment online. And right now, there are n number of tools available, and you can actually go and do your strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat assessment, a SWOT analysis online. And you can actually see that if you are good in numbers, maybe investing on a real time visualization project and skill set, or investing in a data visualization tool would be the right investment around skill set to shape up your career to the next level. If you are someone who is of a technology mindset, I think investing in ERP, finance system strategy, and the IT side of finance and accounting would be very interesting for you. If you're someone who likes numbers, then I think spreadsheet and data inquiries, data strategies, and modeling and statistics would be your go to skill set to adopt, because that is the future of finance and accounting professional. And then, as I told you, that leaving it to luck or destiny to choose, I think one way you can do is you can start learning about these tools and start participating and investing your time in your professional journey when such opportunity comes up to implement one of these tools. So I will give you two scenarios now. So there is a finance professional who is working in an enterprise, and uh, he's having he's day in day out working tirelessly on the numbers and the work which is given to him by his enterprise. And suddenly the enterprise told that they want to adopt a new data visualization tool, and this person feels it very threatening that if the tool will come, he might lose his job, or uh, his skills will become irrelevant, and say anxiety comes to him, and he started behaving in a different way. On the other hand, there is a scenario number two where uh, and one more colleague is there, and he sees it as an opportunity to learn the data visualization tool, how it will impact the reporting and analytics around, say, management reporting or IFRS reporting. He goes out there, he learns the tool and what changes it will do to a management reporting pack. And in sometimes he becomes the subject matter expert on how to use this tool, and actually emerge out as a winner who has very beautifully carved out a new skill set apart from his parent skill set of knowing IFRS or management reporting, and is able to very beautifully carve out his new skill set uh, around the digital skills which are coming as well. Now, if you are a good finance and accounting professional and you have a little bit knack on coding as well, you can also carve out your career around coding, robotics, and AI and machine learning as well. But there is a word of caution out there as well that the the skill has to be very sharp and precise, and your functional knowledge around finance and accounting will definitely play a key role. Now, some of the data science capabilities which are also trending nowadays is what kind of data strategy you can build around finance function so that the accuracy of data is very high. What kind of ethics you can bring to the finance function as a skill set so that wrong data is not reported. Data intuition, by working with a lot of data accounting professional actually develops a data intuition capability as well, and how you can use it. Data analysis and interpretation, giving interpretation to business leaders to help analyze their business function. Good communication skills, data visualization. If you have a knack for IT programming tools and statistics and modeling tools, so that you are able to forecast as well. And I think above all, the best skill set which any professional and not only finance professional can actually build is he should actually be able to build a very nice character also around his life, so to lead a very balanced life and be able to fulfill all the duties which he or she is bound to do, and more so live a very happy life as well. So I just thought that I'll show you how digital accountants are already on their way already. So this is taken from Deloitte, and if you see, Deloitte is predicting the future that all they you actually don't need a finance and accounting professional to do operational data or transactions anymore in future. And they are saying that digital signing will happen, digital reporting can happen, and digital business applications will all take care of it. And digital accountant will be able to bridge the gap between the client and the the business functions as well, and only only data will flow in, and they will be able to do. If you ask me, this is a very optimistic view. I think it will take a lot of time to come to this view, but I think we all should take this as an opportunity that if we can play some part or the other in making this a reality in 10 years or so, or 20 years or so, or say 5 years or so, you don't know, then actually all those skills can come to us automatically. So I think I just want to summarize of what we have gone through in this time. We have actually seen that what are the top 10 strategies Gartner is suggesting for the finance and accounting world. They are also suggesting that right now is the right time to invest on your skill set. We have also gone through how not to fear but actually adopt, appreciate, and embrace some of these technologies in your day-to-day world, and never miss out a chance to actually drive a project or support a project or an initiative where your enterprise is trying to adopt one of these technologies. which actually in turn will lead you to sharpen your skill set and learn these skill sets on the go without actually investing in a very hefty certification package from an online course or from a external vendor. What we have also learned is that we need to start adopting the digital quotient and start developing it as well on a day to day basis, and start appreciating and reading the science around us, that how digital technologies are playing a key role, and slowly start improving our DQ as well, apart from IQ and EQ. And we also went through a series of skills which are now emerging for a finance and accounting professional. And these skill set can actually help uh, the upcoming generation and the present finance and accounting professionals to take their career to the next level and be very successful and have a very promising and a bright future as well. So with this, I would like to conclude this session, and these are my contact details. You can reach out to me, and also send me an invite on LinkedIn if you want to connect with me and uh, follow me as well. And over to you, Deepak, and Excel team. And if there are any questions, I think we can take the questions as well.
Yes, Pratik ji, we have some questions for you. Before that, thank you, sir, for a detailed presentation. The questions are like this. In this current scenario where people, I mean, the hiring is a little muted, one of the member wants to know any two skills which he can improve, either to get employed or to do, I mean, to start his own practice or something.
Yeah, I think he can definitely. I would suggest that he should do a skill assessment online, and as per me, he should invest on data visualization and improve on his statistics modeling and spreadsheets Excel skill set. Actually, that will actually help him to carve out a very beautiful, and many of the colleagues are losing their jobs right now. I think this is also a right time to invest on your skill set if you have actually gone through such a situation in your life, and be very positive around it. And I think there are n number of courses online available at free as well. And I personally feel that this is a good time to invest in webinars as well, and most of the learnings can come from webinars also. So that would be my suggestion to him or her.
Thank you, sir. One more question from Dean of a business school. How can we value add to MBA finance students to a digital, to be digital and to stay relevant? Which digital aspect must they focus on now for MBA students?
Yeah, I think this is a very, very good questions, and I have myself done an MBA. So what I can actually tell is that right now all leading B schools are partnering with companies like Automation Anywhere, UiPath, MicroStrategy, to actually start building a new course in their curriculum around digital transformation and use of digital technologies. And a vigorous course inviting a right practitioner into the college to teach them and tell them about the latest trends will definitely help the future generation or the upcoming generation which are out there. And as our prime minister is also saying that we have to become atmanirbhar, and I think these skill set we should adopt in such a way that we should ensure that India is the next upcoming powerful nation in the world to show people how we can streamline ourselves. And I think the future generation can very easily adopt these things. So these are my suggestions.
Just
So actually,
my own personal doubt, uh, and similar in the same question. Do they need a online certificate? Is it accepted in the by employers?
yeah, so this is a very good question again. So I think that I will split it into two parts. So I think one is learning about the skill set, and other one is uh, just trying to get a certificate. So the person who will be a person who will make his foundation very strong and will also have a certificate, I think he or she will be the person who will be able to succeed fast. So my suggestion is not to go with certificate. My suggestion is to combine the certificate with good foundation skills, and then take it as a package to the industry and to fellow peers and colleagues. The other way, I have also seen a new trend is that people are not looking for certifications, they are actually looking for the real knowledge. And if you see firms like Google, Facebook, they don't see certifications and the qualification of an employee. They actually go with the skill set. And the way the world is going, I will not be surprised that in 2 years' time in India, freelancing and the entrepreneurship can actually go up. So I think my suggestion is to couple both of them together.
Okay. In one of the slide, you said there's an increasing adoption of digital practices and also increasing usage of AI in other platforms. Will this make the finance team thinner?
Yeah, actually, yes. I think this is a very good question. Yes, it will make the finance team thinner. But then, as I was also mentioning, that a chartered accountant who has passed out of a CA institute, either in India or abroad, he's actually expected to bring out his finance acumen to help finance or help an enterprise improve its working capital and not post journal entries actually. So what is actually happening is that because the adoption of digital technologies was less, some of us, our original skill sets are not also razor sharp. So right now, a time is coming whether either you have to be best in your skill set or you will be left behind. So I think a finance professional of the future will look like a go-to person who is actually working on a tax reform, or say a new GST kind of a tax has come, and his skill set is actually required to interpret those, uh, advise or consult a organization around it. And he should be, and if he is having his own practice, he should be rest assured that his transactional part is taken care by a robot. And while he is consulting a client around his tax assurance and say legal practice, he knows that a code is working in the back end, and that code will be able to do the invoicing and collection of the money for his enterprise and things like that. And please understand, and we should appreciate that for doing that in a chartered accountant's practice on its own firm, he actually require a IT person to do it and a functional person who knows finance and accounting very well to support it. So I think new roles will get created. Definitely finance and accounting person will not get thin, but maybe they will branch out to other departments where their skills must have got evolved into say IT skills or SOC skills and other skills.
Any piece of advice for mid-level employees,
Yeah, so
mid-career?
actually one piece of advice which I have is that don't fear these technologies. You should actually be the go-to person to actually go and support these implementation in your enterprise. And if you do only these basics, I think you will be the go-to person for the new technology adoptions. And the best part is that you don't have to invest money in any certification to prove that you know it. And I think this is my advice to them: be very simple, uh, stick to fundamentals, and improve your digital quotient.
One more thing, sir. Just one of the participant. Can you repeat on the skills they can equip, sir?
Yeah, so I think right now spreadsheet is still used in India. Excels are still,
Can you show that screen, sir, if you don't mind?
yeah, definitely.
Mr. Makbul Shahid.
Sure.
And one Mr. Mayank Goel has asked any suggestion on where they can do courses like IFRS and financial modeling. If
Yeah,
you
so
have any
these,
suggestions.
yeah, so these are some of the skills, and we can share this presentation to you, Deepak, and you can
Sure,
actually
sure, sure.
share it with others. But if you see all these skill set and these ones, so the data strategy, data intuition, data analysis and interpretation, statistics and modelings are the go-to skills and data visualization for the upcoming finance and accounting professional. But again, my advice would be not to follow it blindly. If you are a person who is good with numbers and have never done coding or say a technology implementation, and you are a pure finance number guy, I would not want you to go directly to a programming skills classes or a RPA classes or say machine learning classes. That would be definitely not utilizing the time, money, and effort in the right direction. So that is why my suggestion is to go for a free online skill assessment test, which is readily available. Please do your skill assessment, see where your strengths are, where your weaknesses are. I think the best advice which some guru gave me as well is, first you should focus on improvising more on your strengths. So that can actually help you to carve out a good career, a niche career, and then slowly, parallelly, you should start working on your weaknesses as well. Now, no one is perfect. Everybody has strengths and weaknesses. So my advice is, please focus on your strengths first. Don't follow the bandwagon blindly. Don't follow the race blindly. First, you should know where the race starts and where actually it has to end, and when the next race has to start. And then for racing a marathon and for racing a 100-meter sprint, different kind of trainings are required. So my advice is, please don't train for marathon and run for a 100-meter sprint. Don't prepare for a 100-meter sprint and race a marathon. So it will lead to an injury as well. So some of my friends and colleagues calls me and tells that I am a chartered accountant. I have invested very good amount of money in a very big course, and now I am struggling to complete the course. So my advice to them is, please see your current situation, current strengths, and invest wisely. and invest slowly as well in any skill set. Try to learn the basics, try to learn the foundations first. In 1 month only, you will be able to know whether this is for you or not. And if this is not for you, you actually, there are so many skills, and I'm very sure that all of us are very talented. And definitely, there will be one skill set and one area of interest where which will click you, which will be of area of interest to you, and that is the area where you need to invest in more. And I feel that should come automatically to one person if he shows some or put some effort in learning those initially.
Good, Pratik ji. Very much. I think you answered all the questions. That's all from our side. I mean, anything you want to add on?
Yes, I just want to thank again Deepak ji. I think you and your organization is taking a very good initiative. And I know
Thank
these are very challenging times. I wish all of you who are viewing this webinar live that please stay safe, stay at home. And this is a good time to be positive, be strong. And this is a very good time to invest on your skill set. So, and go slow and go far.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you,
And
sir. One, just a moment, sir. I'll just a moment. Neha, over to you, Neha.
Thank you so much, sir. On behalf of Excellent Excel, thank you, sir, for sharing your wisdom to us and our audience. I am sure the participants will feel enriched in your knowledge sharing. It was an outstanding presentation and highly informative. I also thank the audience for their support and participation and taking your time out. Do not forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and also share among your friends and colleagues. There are few announcements to our participants. We are again coming with a new session, 20th of this month, that is next Saturday at 11 a.m. by C.A. Saran Kumar on the topic spreadsheet and forensic relation.
Neha, it is 19th, Neha, 19th of June.
Okay, so
Okay.
sorry,
No,
it is
no, no issues.
19th of June.
19th.
Yeah, we are also keen to know your inputs, topics, suggestions for future sessions. You can
Sure.
drop your suggestions in the comment box. Thank you all.
Thank you. Pratik ji will share your slide on the YouTube. In case of any future questions, I'll share with you on the LinkedIn, sir.
sure, happy to answer all of
Thank
them.
And we look forward for one more session in the future, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, and
Thank you.
have a nice day, everyone. Good
Thank
day.
you, sir. Thank you. Good day.
Thank you.